grandma. When people say, who made you an activist? My grandmother. She told me stories. What were the stories? A girl that was kidnapped on the road, the Yorubas used to do that, and given in marriage. And she had a tool to make an effigy, and she saved herself from a marriage that she didn't want. So that taught me that anytime I would always have something with which I can deliver myself. So tell stories. That's what women do. Build the dreams. Then of course begin to respect one another. Stop competing amongst yourself, because women have been very wasteful, I must say. They've been taught to buy, to spend money in a wasteful way. Always changing headgears in 3 months. Materials that are not made in Nigeria. You have that taste for it. Body massaging. I'm not saying don't massage. We need the massage, because in the palpitations of those places, palpations of those bodies, you begin to discover diseases, swollen parts. But you cannot tell us you are using all our money to buy gold now. We should think of Indira Gandhi. She collected all the gold of the Indian women and saved our country. So I want our women to spend time in reading, in writing, in telling stories, instead of fearing. Then of course the religious system has to change. You can't say women can't pray. Okay, you can't say women cannot be pastors. No. God is a spirit. That is it. And we are all spirit beings. So that is the thing. So we should possess ourselves. We should do more. But you cannot, it's even bad what we're doing to women. When you mention that we cook, and then by the time you have even done the cooking, cleaning, doing everything, you're never paid. So the nation is cheating women. Yes, we are unpaid for all the services we render.
Who pays for that?
They should pay for it. If you have a housemaid, won't you pay? No, that is women. That's why some women look down on women that are housewives. They are doing like 4 jobs, by one person. The family should pay. The government should pay, and that is why they're also wasteful. Okay, think about it. I keep laughing. The laces that women want to wear, they are not made in Nigeria. I'm not happy that the first lady went to Dubai for her birthday. That is wasteful. Do you get it? So this class of women that are related to politicians are not representing the Nigerian female.
But what about the fact that we also have some political leadership who are of the male gender jetting out for medical help or medical treatment? Where do we place that?
No, we have. That's what I'm saying. A criminal is a criminal, whether male or female. A wasteful, don't let me use that word. A wasteful, unrepresenting leadership, whether male or female, is still the same. That's what we're saying. This particular set of bills, the men are already enjoying it. Let us enjoy it too. Okay, good for you, because you have children that are married to foreigners. But is that the Nigerian problem? The majority of Nigerians want good food on their table, education for their children, good health care for the female folks. So I am saying we want people that represent people. Do you get it? We want to participate in politics, but we want representatives, representatives of the Nigerian female. Okay, that group of people, is the male, is the wives, you have army officers' wives, police officers' wives. This better life for rural women. Do you get it? They have created an elitist group that still prey on the poor. They are not representing us. That is wifism. For sleeping with a butt-bellied, bleaching your body, that kind of stuff. Funny girl, you now got involved with a politician who had married a wife that was not properly educated before. Now wanted a new wife that is more pepper yo-yo for the position. Because that is what is happening. So when the pepper yo-yo come, I'm going to give you, and then those ones will now go to the house. Allow any girl that is married, whether 18 or not, is now an adult. Those group of people, this set of, they are not representing us.
All right, just on that note, let me just tell our viewers that you have opportunity to also participate on the program this evening. The phone lines will be open right about now, and it's right on your screen. Do remember you have to turn down the audio level of your TV set, or you move away from it. Tell us your name and the location where you're calling from so that we can have your contributions on the program this evening. I still have Mrs. Kemi Ademola Aremo in the studio. Of course, she's a social activist. Now, looking at some of the things that you have said and how much more women are interested to be part of the political process in Nigeria. Now, where do we start from? You talked about these key areas, like the offices of the wife of the president, and of course, chief of army staff, your wives. Now, let's look at that. Let's even start with the wife of the president. Now, that office has not been recognized by the Constitution, whether you're married to the president or not. As far as the president is occupying that seat, the seat of the first lady, that office is not recognized under the Constitution. Now, do we start from there in terms of actually putting the constitutional or the legal framework for that office to be recognized?
We can't have that office recognized because she's the wife of the president. We did not elect her. It's not an elected position. She has duties to play because of many issues. It's still the kitchen cabinet sort of thing. So what I'm asking for is the Zumota matters. Every woman in every female association knows who speaks for the association. That is what we're saying. We cannot create spaces that will be occupied by wives of former senators, former governors, just like we have Ahmed Tinubu did, his wife moved in, his son-in-law crept in. Do you know what is happening? It's the same political class. The men are oppressing us. Now their wives want to oppress us too.
Not a level playing field.
Not a level playing field anyway. So we want women, female representation. We want women that have a heart for the people. So you will see. That's why I'm mentioning that the female associations that we already have, women groups. Women are not like men. They don't deceive themselves. So if you have women groups, that's why men don't even like women coming together. They say they'll become rebellious. Because when women put their nose to it, they will not take nonsense from any other female. The Umuadas, that is what I'm saying. I want the Umuadas to rise up. Put one woman down that will represent the women in that community. We've seen women resisting bribery now. They wouldn't sell their vote. They better be women. Okay, they refuse to sell their votes. Those are the women I'm talking about. These are the natural leaders for women. These are the ones that must contest and win positions. These are the ones that we want to speak for women in the house. We're not looking for women that just want to, look good and be, there's a way they've been going about it, since Mamangida's time. There's a way they've been going about it. So we don't want those women. When we have a group of women that have the poultry farms, and they know themselves. I know women now. We know ourselves. Women are strong. They don't. You can have a man that have a bad friend. Have you ever seen a woman having a bad friend? A man would know that this my friend is a bad person, but they will relate functionally. That is a trick women must also learn. We must know what has brought us to the table. We want decision making. We want a level playing ground.
So the personal aspects should be left out. Having the personal issues.
It is always part of it, but we must grow beyond where we are now. So what we're to do, the strategy, is training and retraining and telling them there are no perfect people on planet Earth. So we're going to be dealing with human beings. But let the person you're choosing represent you, and that's where the electoral law must also change. When you are no longer representing us, for example, if you are a councillor and you move from that area, you must leave our position for us, because there's nobody to counsel where you're going to. You have left us. You cannot be our chairman and be living in another local government. The moment you shift to that place, you are no longer representing us. So whether chairperson, chairman, choose people in your locality that you know. People you can walk up to, people who walk their talk, people who come to you, people who feel your pain.
But let's look at what Salif said at a point in time, the former Liberian president. She has said, as a matter of fact, that Amina Mohammed, that's a woman representing Nigeria at the United Nations, should be our best bets when we want to look at the 2023 elections. And many people had things to say, especially the male folks, that why do we always project women to wanting to take positions? Why not them fight for it? Now, you could see an endorsement coming from a fellow African leader, and of course a woman to a woman. Do we begin to look also in the light of those who have represented the country internationally also coming back home to contest within our political process and of course handle key positions?
Well, you see, it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword. A Liberian is a Liberian. She has worked with this lady, So she's recommending her. Do we know her at home? Okay. The woman I would like to stand for is Okonjo Iweala.
But she has actually been in DMO. That's Amina Mohammed.
Yes.
The Debt Management Office. And of course she played some role there.
Whatever role. See, I am not... See, we have many good men in Nigeria. But they're also not given a level playing ground. That's why they run from party to party at times. Because there's a system in place, there's a structure in place that does not allow the best to emerge in Nigeria. But we're all suffering from their decision making. And we have to understand that we have this pyramidal life. The position is just at the tip. So let the mass at the base begin to get their acts together. We must strategize. It is a political, it's a class war. You have people that are not represent you. So when you have a Jeziani, because I know people will be thinking about that at home, this lady from the bank too, from Eco Bank. Okay, so a lot of things are going on in people's minds, but the men are no better.
The likes of even Cecilia Ibro,
yes.
No one is talking about her.
Of course, they are trying to. The media is quiet. The media should be active. So that's what I'm saying. This Abba Riot thing will happen when there is female representation. When we move, women should stop. Think of what has happened in Kenya. What has happened in Rwanda. If you come to Nigeria, it is a matter of time, but it's also a matter of consciousness. So women must consciously train their daughters differently. You can compete for those positions. It will cost you sweat and blood. Okay, you will sweat, like producing babies cost us sweat and blood. Taking care of our children cost us sweat and blood. Do you see women carrying loads on their heads every day? One day I told my children, they saw some women taking things, scavenging. I noticed they were shocked. Okay, next time I was driving them to school, they were shocked. So I now started the conversation. I said, every time you see a bird flying, what is the bird flying for? To feed or build a nest. That's what it is. So women work day and night to feed their children. I tell them, that woman you're seeing scavenging, you must never look down on any woman. Every woman you see is fighting for what their children would eat. That was my conclusion. So I have respect for every female, every male. Every male that is good. They are fighting for the survival of their kind. And in fact, even the ones that are oppressive now, they are afraid. So they are greedy, they are dysfunctional. So if we want a great Nigeria, it must be a nation where there's justice, where there's equity, where there is peace, where there's equal chance, where the girl is not withdrawn from school to go and marry an old man. While I was in secondary school, I went to a federal government girls' college. Do you know that we had the Queen's list and the merit list? Those of us that are very young came on the merit list. The Queen's list was from every of the 19 states that was in Nigeria then. Do you know how many of my classmates, as limited as we were, just 600 in the whole school, many of my classmates never graduated, especially the ones from the north. They went on holiday, and from there they married them off. I later worked in Medjugorje, Borno State. Some of my students were married off. Then some came because they were wives of big men, never read their books, just came for the certificate, kind of, just school cert failed. We've been to Polytechnic. I taught at Drama Polytechnic, so I can tell you. So some will just bring their wives in, attempted school cert. They come into school, they're not interested in lectures, they just want to upgrade, so that their husbands can move them around. Please, we need women that are willing to do the work. A medical doctor female and a medical doctor male, they are the same.
So how then do we address the issue of culture? Now you talked about the northern region, where they marry out their daughters at the age of 10, 11, 13.
9.
Because they feel that once they're educationally exposed, they will be strong-headed to actually get married and of course be humble. And that's the perspective they have from the northern region itself. Then how do we address that? How do you tell those girls, for instance, like you saying now, to say that, they have to equip themselves educationally? How can they do that?
They will not be able to marry old men that have insecurity issues. Okay, yes, if a man is a man is a man, he would go for a girl that can think and reason. So girls should stop showing, and these money bags will not be there forever. Forget it. The world is changing. The fact that, oh, I want a soft landing, or parents thinking because he's bringing yama, we dash him a daughter.
And so that means the guardian and the parent needs to do a lot of work here.
We have to educate them. That's why I'm saying that we need women that are on their feet, that can walk their talk. Women like Aja Gamba, Sawaba Gambo, I love her so much. She fought, she did her best. So there are many young girls like that. I hired them as students. I still travel to the north, so I see these girls, they are working so hard. They must stop taking drugs, because that's another thing. Many girls are shooting themselves in the leg. They're taking drugs, they're going to clubs, that kind of stuff. That's not going to get you there. You have to sit down, study, skill up. Okay? Mathematics, the brain has no gender, kind of. There's a genderized portion where maybe you're more sensitive, No, make up your mind. I made up my mind as a child. I said, when they say girls were finicky, that's what they used to do. They cannot make up their mind. Because they can make up their mind, but they're considering many factors. So I told myself, my emotions must be subject to my decision making. Yes, so even if I'm crying, I am also sane. Okay, I'm crying, I'm saying my emotions tell me that I have to make tough decisions. So this is what we have to tell, I guess. You must be feminine. You still be pretty, soft voiced, but your mind must be alert. Girls of muscles, brain, and power, fit to cope with anything. That's what Nigeria needs, because every female standing in a home that is strong can better help and groom the children. That is the truth. Sometimes you need 4 women to make 1 woman.
Okay, let's even go to south. We are in the south, and of course southwest. We saw Sanwo-Olu at a point in time intercepting 2 young girls who were supposed to be in school, and of course they were trying to go and grind maybe beans or pepper for their parents and their wards. Now that actually rung a number of bells in the minds of many people, because you're wondering, this is southwest where children, girls, boys go to school, because of the awareness that is in the south. But in spite of that, we saw that happen on the broad daylight. Now, this campaign itself, for those who are canvassing to have more women, of course, participate in the policy making process, how do they actually start off if we still have this happening in the south?
I think
as exposed as the south
there's
is.
a confusion right now. Southeast, southwest are not benefiting from a lot of funds they should be benefiting from. You see, we have to say the truth. Poverty is affecting behavior. If you cannot pay school fees, the child has to go and work to bring food for the family. That is why I'm saying that what these women, the bill I expected from these women was to fight that every child should be in school, was to fight for the empowerment of families, not tokenism. Because if now schools are good, look at the dilapidated roofs of public schools. That is the first set of bill. If the environment is not safe, how do you study in such an environment? Let us fight for water. There is no reason why somebody should come and drill a borehole in one locality and put 6 pipes.
But how do you monitor communities and homes to actually ascertain whether girls are in school, for instance? Because that's a perspective. That if you're a girl, you're supposed to stay back and do all the chores, even while the male ones, in the home, go to school.
That is preference.
Then how do you monitor that?
That is gender preference when there's scarcity. It's because the resources in the homes are not enough. So the family has to do opportunity costing. And they feel, the girl will soon be married away, but the boy will bear the name of the family. That is because there is no equity at that level.
So how do you monitor that?
It can be monitored. This fake feeding that they are doing for our children, the money should be turned. Infrastructure is first. Infrastructure in my environment. Public schools in my environment should have their roofs repaired. Public primary healthcare centers should have their roofs repaired. As I'm speaking, go everywhere. Dilapidation everywhere. We don't need new things. Let us maintain what we already have. Let us maintain things that are already known. They should stop selling our public spaces to people. Even now, a lot of built-up areas, we need the green zone. We need women to be properly paid so that they can concentrate on their children at home.
Don't we really have a major challenge in our hands? Now, looking at what even the House of Representatives has said, that more women and girls are even prone to killings.
Of
Now you
course.
talk about ritual killings,
Ritual
and that's a
acts.
norm. And now you have that of Oluwabamishi recently, and so many others like that. Even the Ogun State, where the young girl's head was plucked off for ritual purposes. Now, if you look at that instance, and of course you keep counting, those are the ones we even know because those were reported. Now there are so many that we are not even aware of. And now the House of Rep is saying we must look into that because more women and girls are prone and vulnerable. Then if you look at that, this development, don't we have enormous challenges in our hands?
We can win. Okay, look, culturally, because when people talk, I'd like to say that look at the history. If there was a sacrifice to be born in any African society, who bears the sacrifice? A virgin. And not just any virgin, the virginal daughter of a widow or a stranger.
Joshua Shogbo Festival.
Whatever. Everywhere.
The lady who carries the calabash must be a virgin.
A virgin, and they will not pick, that's why I said, look, think back. Human beings are increasing. Females have always been part of rituals in African context. So we have a Herculean task. That's why we cannot afford fake representation. We cannot afford, because if females are also priestesses and priests of religions, they will stop counting female parts as part of rituals. Even in America, we have satanic ritual killings. So it is a global thing. And that's why I say it's not peculiar to Nigeria. But our own illiteracy is driving it more.
And so how then do we educate our culture? Because this is a norm that is there for a very long time. I just mentioned that of Oshosho, but it's believed that the Aruba must be a virgin who has never seen a man before. And that culture is there for a very long time. Then how do we enlighten ourselves with our cultural trait itself?
It's simple. It's education. They used to kill twins. Mary Slessor stopped it. People used to dance around trees. Now they know better. It's education. That is why the beginning of human rights, I said women's rights are human rights. The foundation is education. Education does not have to just be, what we're doing is enlightening people, does not have to just be in classrooms. So we must fight for our classrooms to make sure there's education. And political education must be part. It's not just civics education. In civics education, the students are just writing, internalization.
So we should close the space for our cultural, some of the cultural things.
It will go.
Okay.
Female genital mutilation, not naturally. The more enlightened people, it stops with you. Nobody's going to mutilate my daughter. Okay? Nobody's going to. And we have NGOs.
Because of the awareness now.
It's simple. I was not mutilated. My mother was not mutilated, though it is in the culture. But her mother knew better. Like I said, I'm like fourth generation of educated people. My grandma went to school. So there were certain things that were not in our homes. So as that goes on, many people get enlightened. The females have to know nobody should buy you credit card for you to sleep with them. That is the problem. There's this aspect of the females that think a man will marry me, then I will have soft landing. And the boy is thinking I will marry a girl, but she's going to take care of me. She'll be cooking for me free of charge. She'll be taking. Do you see the perception? So the female mind is it's a mental thing. The women should begin to understand. Look, we have machines that can help and reduce the cooking time. Okay, so we can go out and do things. You should not be involved in trafficking, because the way the trafficking is coming from is from lazy women trying to get other people's labor in. Okay, we should have professional house managers. If we want to clean, we can use cleaning facilities to do it. There are people that can register companies that are involved in cleaning your home for you.
With the economy we have, in the realities of what we have on ground.
That is why your economy is your business, up to a point. But this, when we say there are no jobs, it is this revolving cycle of evil in Africa. When we say that, if you paid your wife for doing the house cleaning, or the government takes care of children till they are 6 years old, what do you think will happen? That is the economy. That is the money they are stealing away. The money that is not being appropriated because people are doing cheap labor, free labor. Okay? People even think, oh, what is your statistics? They just describe their bodies to you. That is where the problem is coming from. If when we say, okay, look, this particular type of job attracts a good wage, People will do it. That is where while child labor is on, it's cheating. When you engage children, child labor, all these things we call human rights abuses. Okay, they are stemming from evil. Our decision not to give what is right, what is due to people. It is oppression. When you don't say one woman is moving, she's carrying 20 people, or the president has to attend a meeting, he's carrying 500 people. Why? For a meeting. What is their role in that meeting? This entourage that keeps going up and down, what are they doing? That is wasteful. And that's why the girl thinks all I have to do is go to where I can meet rich men. Okay, that is why a small girl does not mind a pot-bellied man. No, but this is serious. We know what we are doing. The oppression is breeding corruption. By the time everybody is on the same page, okay, this my shoe that I'm wearing should last me so amount. It is calculated. This investment I'm making should yield such. You see how these frivolities will fall off. So long the frivolities are maintained, that is what is cultural now. Oppression is not anybody's culture. It is oppression. It is evil. It is violence against people. So some people say, no, I want 10 drivers. Why? If you're paying the right price for your driver, you be careful you will know who should drive the car. Is that not true? If you're paying the right price for the cleaner, you will know what trash you want to leave behind. Isn't it so? So
how then do we get out of what appears to be a quagmire?
Education.
Okay.
Education.
What is the role of the National Assembly?
Right now, those people that we have up there as our political class, they are not representing us.
So what will happen? Revolution?
See, the revolution begins in the mind. When it stops with you, it has stopped with you. That is the revolution. So over time, the little drops will become a stream. A land where no man is oppressed. That is what we're going to reap. A land where everybody is evenly paid. Those women should fight for ASU to return. That is it. They did not fight for their public primary schools. So now they have to sell everything to send a child to school. Even Nigerians are willing to go and die at Ukraine.
Okay, because of our time is fast spent, let me just ask, how do you encourage women, as part of some of the things you may want to say, in terms of actually being used, especially when it comes to campaign eras? It's been believed that the women have to dance and of course have to get, what do you call now, materials, like Ashwebi materials here. They call it Ashwebi or Ankos in the West. Now, they have to get these materials in volume, and of course they have to come out and drum for the men. And that has been the charade that we're faced with. Yes. Now, what advice do you have for women
those
to develop the
women
process?
that are dancing palungo up and down? I've met several, and I've spoken with them. But the truth is, they are the women they were telling you had never seen 5,000 naira before. If you were positively engaged, even if you're making puff, you make your money daily. Will you leave your puff to go and be dancing palongo after any man? I met a 32-year-old grandma. I'm not surprised, because I was in school with some girls who had great grandmas. And we asked them, how come they had this? My mother married at 16, my mother married at 13. It's common in the north. This is Nigeria we're talking about. So right now in the West, where they're not, is the poor. That is what the problem is. Nigeria is the poverty capital. They are now saying we should be happy India has taken over. Can you think of India that is almost a continent? India had that issue because of COVID-19 problem that they had. They will soon, is Nigeria that is the poverty capital. So that is it. It's the poverty issues we should fight now. It is holding another woman's hand. It is fighting for good, sound health care for the poor woman.
And so what are we living with this evening?
We're living with the fact that tell your story. Encourage a girl child. You may not be able to give her money, give her words of advice. Tell stories at your tables. Treat your girl like your boy. Let your boy know it is dangerous to hope that a girl will take care of you. That is a terrible expectation. And that's why the marriages are breaking down. As far back as late 90s in the north, 100 days was a celebration point for marriages. I'm telling you, it is not working. Especially the drug issues now in the north. People are on drugs in the south. Then people are gambling. Women should please stop gambling. You know, the state governments are irresponsible when they sponsor games for women. Yes, these are the things that are happening.
All right, we can't exhaust this. We'll keep talking about it. We must say a big thank you to Mrs. Kemi Ademola Aremo. She's a social activist. Thank you so much, ma, for being here. And of course, to all our viewers and those who attempted to call, we'll say a big thank you. And of course, join us again next week for another interesting edition of The Lens. My name is Bolabo, famous school. Bye for now.